Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on when you're watching this. It's Monday. The ghost ship trial is started in Oakland. Now, what they're doing today is bringing jurors in to fill out jury questionnaires. So, what does that mean, right? Well, let me give you a bird's eye view of a trial. A trial starts with voir dire. In French, I believe that means to tell the truth. That's where the judge, both sides, the government and the defense, ask jurors questions to see if they qualify to serve on this particular jury. Then they go to opening statement. That's where each side gets to tell what they expect the evidence in the case to be. So the government gets an opening statement, the defense gets an opening statement. Then the government begins their trial. They put on all their witnesses, the defense gets to cross-examine them. Once they're done, then the defense gets to start their case. They put on their witnesses, the government gets to cross them. Then the trial, at least the evidentiary part, comes to an end, and the jury is then, I'd hesitate to say subjected, but both sides get to argue their case to the jury, to express to the jury what they think the evidence showed. Now, the government gets two closing arguments. Now, why do they get two closing arguments? Because they have the burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So the government makes a closing argument, then each defense attorney, depending on number of defendants, in this case there are two, so each of the defendants, through their attorney, gets to get up, making a closing argument to the jury. Then the government gets back up and makes the final closing argument. The jury then goes into the jury room and sees if they can come to a verdict. That's a bird's eye view of a trial. Now today what they've done, what the court has done is bring about 80 to 100 jurors in. They have given them a jury questionnaire, and I'll talk about that next time. But they fill out a jury questionnaire. What's your name? That jury questionnaire is composed by both sides, the government and the defense. They both get to put questions in there. They argue about it. The judge comes to a final, okay, here's what the questionnaire will say. Usually there are about 50 questions to the juror. Jury panel's brought in, they're passed out. They tell each juror, fill it out. Hopefully you're going to fill it out legibly or we're going to have problems, they're told. So they fill it out legibly with these answering all 50 questions. Then once they're done, a big pile of them, 80 to 100, they're given to usually the government and they say, go copy them. They copy them, one copy for the judge, one copy for the government, and one copy or two copies for the defense in this particular case. Then the attorneys leave court for a day or two. Jurors are told to come back probably Wednesday or Thursday of this week. And during those 2 days, the attorneys will go over each questionnaire. The theory behind the questionnaire is that it's going to cut down on actual questions by the attorneys in court. So the judge will watch over that very carefully and say, all right, shorten the voir dire, shorten the questions you ask, because the jurors have really answered a lot of the questions. Now, I will tell you sort of inside baseball, judges on the whole usually don't like voir dire because they sit there and they watch attorneys just babble on and on and on. So they get very short and say, come on, hurry it up, stop, that's enough. We've asked enough questions. Some won't even let either side ask questions in voir dire. When I was raised in the DA's office, the government's office, they let us pretty much have our head within reason to ask questions. But nowadays, judges have become really impatient. So they want it quick and fast. I don't like it because you really don't get to know the jurors very well, and you have to make a sort of seat of the pants decision. That's pretty much what it's about. So I'll get back to you about how that questioning went in voir dire in our next section. Now, I put a recipe out this weekend of my sister, Jill. There was a mistake or two in it, so if you've looked at it, go back and take another look. I want you to try it. I'm telling you, it's killer dessert. I mean, you put it on strawberries, it's really killer. Let me know, and let me know what type of recipes you want. And don't tell me healthy, because my sister, I don't believe, has a healthy recipe. All her stuff is so good, you don't want to be on a diet when you're doing this, okay? So don't say, gee, I'd like to know how to make a healthy salad. Ain't doing that. This is all really good stuff. All right, see you later. Remember, All it takes is all you got.